Today, we will mainly talk about our history, how in the education we can find a place about our history. I mean, Roma history, And I really.
Welcome to the new podcast, Amaro Voice. Amaro is from the Romani language and means our Roma, Sinti and Roma voices among Europe. Today we have our 5th episode and this means also the last episode of season 1. So are you ready, Stephanie, and how are you?
Yeah, I'm ready. Hello everyone, hello Sainour. I'm very happy to do the last episode because we got to speak about education, about school, about many different topics about really the education in our community.
At the end, we have one good news and one bad news, but later we will talk about it.
Yeah, perfect. We have more exciting. Yeah. Thank you. I got to introduce the topics. Today, we will mainly talk about our history, how in the education we can find a place about our history. I mean, Roma history, And I really want to ask for you, Sainour, and for the listener, if at school, did you learn something about the Roma community?
Mm-hmm.
If you listen about the enslavement of Roma community or something, in the history, like the big topic, or I don't know, something about Roma, Did you have in Germany? Did you have some topic during your secondary school or before?
I think there's also no for the people who listen or watch. There is no one Roma history. There's many Romani histories because, of course, we have different dialects, and this also means different tribe groups, and also means different histories. And yes, so in school, in history lesson, we had maybe on book a half page about Roma and Sinti during the Holocaust, but we never talked about it. Then we had like one lesson instead of religion. It was called ethics. On 7th or 8th grade, we was talking about Sinti Roma, but just there, so just in general as a minority, but not really. Yeah.
Okay. No, it's interesting because I think Germany is special, too. How did you say before? I think depend the country too, depend the history of the country and the Roma community in this country. In Belgium, we have like one point where the Roma during the Second World War was like it was like the departure with the train to go to the Auschwitz and Birkenau and other camp. And we never talk about that, In the historical, I never heard, this topic, and I think is very interesting. Or in the migration history, we don't speak about, the Roma in Antwerp, in Anvers. It's one place in one city in Brussels. They came in the 50th century, and we never speak about that too, And no, I think it's interesting because we can really see many different groups coming in Belgium or staying in Belgium from many centuries, but we never speak in the history. Yeah, I think it's in Belgium is the same in the history lesson. We have the same with the colonization. We have like maybe 4 hours or maybe a little bit more, and we speak about colonization, but it's not like the Belgian colonization. We go to speak about British colonization, for example. Don't and then do the link about Belgium and all the problematic politics, you know.
I mean, in Germany, we even wasn't talking so much about colonization, and even Germany was part of it. We was only talking maybe about colonization and art lessons, because it was also influenced to art. But in normal history lessons, we was talking about different things like Rome Empire or other stuff. So even about colonization, we was talking about, and then of course about Roma and Sinti or Roma. It was also not talking about. You know, the interesting is, you know, I was born in the Balkans in Kosovo, and in I think in North Macedonia, the first school who had Romani language as lesson in the schools was in North Macedonia during the 70s.
Okay.
And later also in the 90s in like in Kosovo, I'm sure in Serbia also, we had like extra um, language sessions about Romani language. So the Romani teacher was teaching children the language in school, like English or other languages when you learn in school.
Okay. And Tenur, how did you know, how did you have like some information? What the beginning of your sensibilization, or you know, in the Roma history?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not just the one community. How do you
Mm-hmm.
say,
Yeah.
the Roma
So
histories? You know, man.
So first of all, I was born in Pristina in Kosovo, so I was living in Roma community in Pristina. It was the community area was called like Moravska, and there was like mostly Romani people, but also some Turkish people and other people. But mostly it was a Roma neighborhood, but not Roma neighborhoods like in other countries. So there was also other people living together. And of course, when you grow up in Romani, Mahala, like we say, or it's Mahala, it means like neighborhood, and you always sensibilized to some topics. But also later, when I was 7, we was escaping because of the war to Germany, and later when I was older, I was trying to find something on the internet, but it was very difficult. Like when I was 16, 17, and it was very difficult. So the mostly sensibilization, and of course, my dad was also in Kosovo journalist, and he was also in former Yugoslavia activist, and he was also in former Yugoslavia human rights activist. And so I always had this information and this input. But the mostly sensibilization what I had was when I started 2017 to participate in Dikinabisa.
I think it was the same for me. Really, it's and I think for that we love to come back, because all the time we have more information, we have more meeting, we have more. I think it's like it's amazing project for that.
And for me, Dikinabisa was also my first event participating. Before Dikinabisa, I wasn't really in some events related to Roma and Sinti. I was only in 2015 for where students from Roma and Sinti communities was meeting to get like um, support for money to study, etc. But it was like 1 2 days. But I wasn't really so active. I wasn't activist before the Kinabista, or I wasn't participating.
And how your activism changed, you know, before the cannabis star, during the cannabis star, and now after a few years.
Yeah, so before the Kinabista, I just was working and doing my thing. I wasn't also really telling everybody that I'm Roma. Um, like only friends was knowing, but not everybody. Um, so during the Kinabista, it was there was I don't know something special happened. 2017, it was a good experience of learning a lot. Some things I was knowing, but the mostly things I was learning new stuff. But also, it was interesting to meet other young people who are like you, but from other countries. Gi- what was giving you like the motivation, but also this emotion that you are not alone. So because before, because when we escaped to Germany, we was living in an area where was less Romani communities. So in other areas are more Romani communities. So our city is less. And I always, like in my primary school, I was the only foreigner. In later with friends, I was the only Roma. So I always was kind of the somebody who was always alone. So I mean, it was also not really a problem, but at the end, it was also different.
I think we can really say, maybe we don't have like education about our history, about our heritage, but maybe we can create other place like Ilkenabistar to give some education about the different eras, the different um, way uh, we did in the history, and maybe we can really have more event like this, have more place to have this kind of education. I think maybe there are so many different way, but I think the Nicanabisa it's could be accessible. We can have access. If you don't speak English, we can have some people to translate during the training. You can really have and I think you can really learn English because there are so many people with different level. You can exchange. It's one of the motivation to follow your activism or to begin your activism too.
Yeah, I remember the first time in the Knabista 2017. Um, my English was very bad, and but for every event when I participated, it was getting better.
Yeah, that's true. No, I think it's really, a place to input something, many things, And you remember we was talking about the Romani, the Roma month, And I think it should be, one part of the education, one part of take place in the public place.
Hmm.
Oh, you know,
Yeah,
take our place in the public
yeah,
place.
no. I mean, something like Dikina Vista, but also other events like Sukeres Europa is like very good start and beginning, and I think we need more of this, but also not maybe also more nationally because I see some countries are very good in this, but some countries are not so good.
Exactly, that's true. Yeah, I think Socrates is good because we have like we are just not talking, but what we have doing something, you
Yeah,
know.
it's
Uh,
more it's more like empowerment, creating the awareness, being to not be feel shameful to be a Roma. So it's like more to feel stronger, and like Dikinabis has more educational, but it's also empowerment because many young people from different countries meet. But of course, Dikinabista has also this educational part. It's also very important.
yeah, that's true. No, I think you take a very important point about we have to do something in our country and we have to do something bigger, and I think for sure maybe I really hope to have like a big event with South America, with some people in Turkey. We had some people from Turkey in Ikenabistar, I
Hmm.
remember before,
Yeah.
but in from Syria, from other country, should be very nice to have like this kind of big event, too.
So we're coming almost to the end, and at the beginning, I was telling we have good news and bad news. So the good news is okay. We start with the bad news, and the good news we come at the end.
Yes.
And also have one surprise. I have this so-called Amaro Voice T-shirt,
Yeah.
and yeah. So we start with the bad news. Maybe you want to say something to explain
Yes.
to tell.
Yes, we are in the end of the first season. It was very challenging for me because I have a small baby. He, his name is Noor. I have a new job, and I move a lot because I have like an apartment, but they have a lot of things to do. It's very complicated because it's not ready, and I wait for more than 1 year, and it was very, very, very. How do you say that? If some people live this, you can understand when you build some stuff in your apartment and everything have problem, and everywhere you have a lot of problem with the neighbors because they have something with some water coming in your house. Okay, you know. And was very challenging for me to first do podcast in English because how you can see, I'm not so comfortable, but I really deserve to share things with you and with Seynour. I was very, very happy to do this with Seynour. I was very, I can say, Seynour, I was very impressed about your way to share some very important thing about our community, our communities, I can say, and how do you take part of the Roma journalism, because we need people like you know. And voilà, I would like to say I go to is the end the co-hosting for me with Seynour. I really loved to share this moment with you and receiving your feedback too, because it's very important to follow this adventure. And voilà, we can please stay listening, Seynour. Please, I really hope the best for you. And the last and the first sentence I would like to say, Obre Roma.
Thank you. Yeah, so it was very enjoyable. It was very good time. I think the first season was taking also a lot of work. So at the beginning, you need to prepare. It's a very new podcast, new platforms, and also to see how it works. So I remember only the in the beginning the research and the scripts creating we was um, we was doing. So for the people to understand. So the project in general started last year in November, and since November until February, March, he was working for 2 3 months only on research for every episode, research about the interviews, creating the interviews, writing the scripts for the podcast episodes. And I mean, normally maybe you take some 1 month, but in the beginning we said no, we want to start very good, so we take more time and was working more. And yeah, so thank you, Stephanie, being part of Amaro Voice. Now, for people who maybe was thinking, okay, this the last episode was taking a long time. We decided in summer not to upload because the summer was not so much attention. It was also the Euro Cups, and so in summer is always difficult with podcasts because not so much people. So this is like the last episodes in summer. And thank you again, Stephanie.
No, thank you. Seynour, I really want to say we have to support this podcast, everyone, because it's a big, big, big job to manage that. It's not many money. It's not much money. It's just a lot of love, a lot of time. I think really, please give 5 stars. Huh? No, 5 stars, and follow to just listen. And I think Seynour have a lot of imagination, a lot of idea for the future. Stay connected, please.
Yeah. So if you want to support us, you can of course subscribe this YouTube channel and give us a like and make a comment. It's also important for the algorithm to make a comment. Just participate and um, give us your 3 words or give us your feedback. This is for you if you watch on YouTube. If you don't watch, if you listen, us on Apple Music, Spotify. Um, if you listen us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, etc., you can also subscribe. The good news at the end.
Yes.
So this was the bad news. The good news at the end. Of course, we will have a new co-moderation, but this we have already new co-moderation, but we will tell later. So the first thing, the good news is I will be in Digitale with this Amaro Voice T-shirt, and I have also an Amaro Voice cap, and for the summer, you know, and I will be in Digitale as part of the media team for Digitale, and I will also create some interviews for the next season, for the second season. I was in May in the prepare meeting for Digitale, and
Okay.
also created already some interviews. So these interviews from the prepare meeting, but also these interviews from the Kinabista will be the beginning of the second season in end of summer or maybe in September. I don't know when we will start. And after this, we will tell you who is the new co-moderation and start this episode with them, with her or with him. But it will be a surprise.
Okay, nice.
So thanks for watching or listening.
Thank you.
Ciao, Delessa.
Ciao, ciao.
This podcast is funded by the Stiftung Erinnerung, Verantwortung und Zukunft EVZ as part of the project Amaro Voice, digitale Bildungsarbeit über die Communities der europäischen Sinti Roma bei der NGO Medien und Kulturzentrum Deutscher Roma e.V.